So first and foremost, from all of us in this country, congratulations. You've done a lot of transformative work in the last 3 years, and it feels that Indian Railways is now like one of the most progressive part of our infrastructure, of our ecosystem. So congratulations to you. You're man on the go 24/7. Tell us what is happening and what has happened in the last 3 years.
As you correctly said, everybody in the country, barring maybe very, very few, are all connected to the railways emotionally as well as for their daily needs also. Say take city of Mumbai. You cannot imagine the city of Mumbai doing one of the most efficient cities in the country, functioning like this without the railways.
Yes.
You cannot imagine the industrialization of so many parts of the country without the people having an opportunity to travel from one end to another. You cannot imagine the agriculture of Punjab doing so well without people migrating from Bihar or UP going to for the agriculture. And all this was possible only because of railways. You cannot imagine the agriculture labor traveling to Punjab by flight, or there is no possibility of going by steamer. Yes. So it is something which is definitely because of railways. So railways has played such an important role. So knowing that, everybody has a huge expectation.
Yes.
So everybody feels that railways must be as good as what is there in Japan or in Europe. It should be as fast as what is there in China. It should be as cheap as, even cheaper than what it is today. So all of these are expectations. So because of contradictory expectations from the same organization, some people think it's a social transformation organization, some think it should be a profitable organization, some feel it should be super fast like bullet train, but somebody feel no, it should run like a passenger train. Yeah. So these are very multifarious, contradictory expectations from the organization. So knowing all that, we said we'll try to fulfill as many as possible. And therefore the budget that I presented, 2 budgets, were actually trying to address all these concerns. But at the same time, you cannot do only emotional work, lip sympathy, unless you do something on the ground. So we said, what is the problem? Why is it so? I can always say that I care for you, but how do I care for a poor person in India unless I do something concrete for him? Yeah. So therefore, going beyond the platitudes, we said we'll try to work on the ground. So we said, let us take really objective view of what are the railways problems. So railways problems are actually something which I mentioned in my white paper. So I'm not telling you today after 3 years. I'm telling you what I diagnosed first. As a doctor, you must do the diagnosis first. Only 42% of railway lines in India are electrified. There are still large number of lines which are meter gauge. Now when you don't have all lines electrified, that means one locomotive will come from diesel, then you have to change it to bring it to electric. Yeah. When all lines are not meter gauge or not on the same gauge, that means you have to change the rolling stock. You may come to one place, take a junction, then you get into other train. Yeah. So we said we'll try to provide a seamless travel. So we're converting all electric, all the non-electrified lines to electric lines in the next 5 years, doubling them. Yeah. So what we did in last 7-8 decades, we are trying to do it in the next 5 years. Right. Then all meter gauge lines will be converted to broad gauge, already decided. Thirdly, we said all the lines where there is a huge congestion, and that's why train get delayed. We cannot send more trains. So there are some lines which are operating at a capacity of 160, 170%, which is inconceivable, but it is happening. Yeah. So we said we'll do doubling, tripling there. So we sanctioned 16,500 kilometers of doubling and tripling in the last few years, which was just as compared to in the 7-8 decades, only more than 20,000, little more than 20,000 was added. Yeah. So imagine what we have done. Yeah. So all this we are doing for augmentation of capacity. Station. Yeah. There are about 400 stations we identified for redevelopment. I think we are already started some work, or we are allotted to somebody, or the process of giving it on a PPP model has started on at least 100 of them. And therefore, in the next few years, we will see a different stations, which will be like airports. Yeah. Second, like the work has already started in Gandhinagar, 300 room 5-star hotel. Oh. The first private station has been handed over in Habibganj in Bhopal, which is already started working like that. The one more in Surat, Anand Vihar, Bijwasan will start very soon. So this is one part. Secondly, there are 40,000 coaches. Almost 85% of the total rolling stock of railways, the coaches of railways, are still old. So they are not safe because they are not non-LHB coaches. So therefore they are not resistant to, whenever there is an unfortunate accident, people have to pay heavily because of to their life. All of that, we are 40,000 coaches will be revamping in the next 5 years' time. 40,000 coaches in the 5 years' time. So if you look at it, the entire system is changed in the next 5 years. Yeah. But you'll then ask me, how do you get immediate benefit? So we started working on immediate concerns. Food. So we changed the catering policy, the benefits will come soon. But we immediately started e-catering. So now you can order a food of your choice. If you want a Bengali food, you can get a Bengali food. If you want a Malayali food, you can get a Malayali food. Whatever food you want, you will get it on your seat through a process of ordering it online and it get delivered. So then of course we are changing the catering policy wherein all the food will be cooked in base kitchens which are completely mechanized, and the delivery will happen through very professional hospitality industry people. So that's the food. Then wherever you take blanket for when you travel in the train, it was not washed as much as it should be. So we said we'll put mechanized laundries. That started already. Of course, process is not fully complete, but wherever there's a mechanized laundry, you get a clean linen, you get better quality. Thirdly, cleanliness. So we said we'll work on that cleanliness. All platforms, all in onboard, it has been changed considerably. You make a complaint through SMS, clean my coach. Within 15 minutes flat, you get somebody coming and cleaning the coach. In addition to that, we are now doing mechanized cleaning. We are trying to find out more ways of it. Reservation of ticket. So that again, we are revamping the entire system so that now we'll start an app. On one app alone, we'll be able to get whatever information, whatever support, whatever services, availing of services you want, you'll get it on one app alone. So all of that we are doing. So in a way, short-term measures which will give quick benefit, including an old man like you are a young person, so you don't have this problem. But for me, climbing the stairs or something like that was a problem. I can see my grandmother, of course my grandmother is no more, but someone other's grandmother, grandfather, somebody wanting to climb the stairs was a horrible thing. So we said we'll start elevators, lifts, travelators in many places. And now we'll increase that number also. So that we have started. Water. You had to buy water at 15 rupees. Sometimes people overcharge, but even they don't overcharge, it's 15 rupees. So I said, why should we do that? So we started giving water at a ATM, what we call it, that you get it by pressing the button. If you have your own glass or the container, you can go there and fill it up. You can get it at 1 or 2 rupees, which are as opposed to 15 rupees. So all of these changes we are trying to introduce to ensure that we do it. While we do this at corporate level, we are trying to bring in complete transparency. So everything will be e-tendering. We'll try to save money on various issues that has been the wasteful expenditure. We are trying to curtail that. We are trying to make sure that people will feel that they don't get cheated when they deal with the railways. Of course, it's a long way to go. We are beginning the process. Speed of implementation has again increased because the Prime Minister says the speed and scale is very important. So speed, earlier we used to do about 3 kilometers a day of new lines. We have more than doubled it. And our target in the next few years' time is to take it to almost close to 20 kilometers a day. So you can imagine the amount of infrastructure that will get added with all this put together. So that will take care of tomorrow's requirement. But today, we are working on providing benefits to people in terms of amenities. Wi-Fi. You know, there is more than 130 stations in India have Wi-Fi. I am very happy to say, and sometimes feel so proud, that young students, they go to the railway platform and browse and they try to do their work. And as you know, now this information is not there only in the books. When I was in the college or the school, the only source of knowledge was what was available in the textbook. But today so much of knowledge available and there is so much of hunger on the part of the young generation to acquire that knowledge. But unless you have the connectivity, broadband connectivity, how will you get that knowledge? So this is again we are doing. So I think this is a comprehensive package, holistic package, taking into account today's needs as well as tomorrow's requirement, making sure that we modernize, we bring in new technology. At the same time, we make sure that common people's concerns are adequately addressed. Profitability. So we are trying to reduce the cost of the railway operation. 41,000 crores will be saved in the next 10 years on energy cost alone. We are doing modernizing the entire railway network digital. We'll bring entire railway network on digital. Only 2 days back we launched Rail Cloud, which is going to be beginning of a new process in the railways. We are doing enterprise resource planning, which was again mentioned in my budget speech. Incidentally, whatever was mentioned in my budget speeches has always been fully implemented. So with all this technology coming in, digital platform that we are trying to introduce, you cannot imagine the benefit that will accrue to the railways. One of the top experts has said that a saving on account of, as a result of what we are doing in ERP enterprise resource planning will be 70,000 crores to the railways over a period of time. So that is what we are trying to do. Make it modern, make it transparent, make it efficient, make it technologically advanced, and in a way help all sections of society, which I said beginning, everybody has different expectations. So we must segment the customers and try to cater to the expectation. For example, you are interested in a very high speed railway and you are willing to pay for it. So we started Tejas for them. Somebody said, I want better facilities, but I don't mind taking a little longer time to reach. So we have started for them Humsafar. Fantastic facilities, but not as fast as Tejas. Somebody would say, no, I want to go ordinary, but little better facilities. So we started Antyodaya for them. And now we are launching soon a product called Uday, which is an overnight train going from the place where you are, like for example, you want to reach your destination, you board a train at night, reach your destination in the morning. So you save on hotel. Some of the small businesses, they don't want to do it. Students, for example, they would feel, as like Europe, people are the backpackers, they go on a ride, they don't want to spend money on hotel.
Startups.
So because they have less pocket money. I'm sure there will be youngsters who like to travel and look at India in traveling in the train at night. So we are providing very good facilities for overnight travelers with saving their money. So all segments of society we are trying to target and try to do like that.
Social media, one of the most remarkable difference which is very visible to everyone is today you can raise a complaint. I remember, I'm from Patna, and at one point I used to do Patna, Delhi, and it was such a cumbersome thing, and you didn't even know whom to complain because there were so many challenges. But now, today I see and your department responding so quickly. Is it something which you really concentrate on, this whole solving problem very quickly, and how have you built this team?
We are a service providers. Railway provides a service, a transportation service, which helps you to go from one place to another as a passenger, or help a businessman transport his cargo from one place to another. So what are we doing? We are providing a service. Any service provider's primary responsibility is to ensure that his customer is satisfied. And if he is not satisfied for whatever reason, and this is possible in case of railways, I will tell you why, that if he is not satisfied, at least his complaint is heard. Now, if you don't do this primary objective or the primary responsibility of an organization, that means you are not doing a good job. So I said we'll work on something like this, that will make sure that all complaints are properly registered, number one, and acted upon quickly. So typically what was a complaint redressal mechanism? A complaint book in the railways. So complaint book at a station, locked with some station master. And probably you want to make a complaint against that person who's holding the lock and key. Why will you allow you to access that? Then even if you access it, you write it there, who is going to read it? After some time when his superior comes there and loses it, then we will get a reply. So all this process, manual process, would take weeks, if not months. That's not what we should be as a service provider should be doing. We should try to understand a complaint immediately on a real-time basis and try to address it. So I started doing that when I became the railway minister myself. I started looking at social media, which I do even today, but I will tell you how we change it. So we said we'll look at it every day and take immediate action. So many people started getting responses. They never could even expect it, never could imagine it. And I will tell you something what we are doing today, considering the magnitude. There are 2.3 crore people travel by railway every day. There are almost 13 lakh, 14 lakh meals we provide to people every day. So magnitude is huge. So nobody in the world, no multinational company can do something which we are doing on the real-time basis. But we said we'll do real-time basis. So we said we'll get a complaint. I started addressing. People were shocked. They could not imagine. There are instances like a girl going, a woman going with her husband, pregnant woman. She was harassed by 4-5 girls drunk. She complained, nobody bothered, the co-passenger didn't pay any hit. We said next station we got them arrested. A TT taking money, so we said send a evidence, photo, they got it. Next station he was suspended. Person having medical emergency, and there is every day we do it at least now 300, 400 every day all over the network. You make up fit, next station ambulance, medicos come and actually help you. So all these things have started happening. So we started as a personal experience. Then I said it is not possible unless we institutionalize it. So we have now created 24/7 system, not only in the railway board, but all across the network. First, I insisted that all general managers, all DRMs, all important functionaries must have the handle of their own, which are now using. As a result of which, what has happened is the responsibility of attending complaint is falling on the person who is supposed to deal with that complaint. See, otherwise, again, if you centralize it, all complaints come to the railway board, which do come. We have a system wherein wherever complaint is made, we record it here and we follow it from here. But unless action has to happen there, for example, you are making a complaint to me about ARA in Bihar. I am sitting in Delhi. What can be done immediately? Because you want immediate redressal of that. So somebody has to act locally, no? So we have made a system wherein, though it is centralized and followed up centralized, locally action is taken. Every complaint that we receive through whatever platform, and in fact now once we launch this new app, all platforms will be integrated. That's what we are launching the app, which I announced in my budget speech. And we are really trying to make it a comprehensive one. Any complaint gets registered and docket is created. And that docket is not closed unless the complaint is fully addressed. Then we of course make a ABC analysis. For example, you make me a complaint and say that for a long time I am complaining, but you have not put up a railway line from my hometown to my workplace. Now this is something we cannot address to social media because this needs investment of 5,000, 6,000 crores. There are systems in the government which have to follow. But you make a complaint about food quality, you can make a complaint about somebody harassing you, complaint about some law and order situation, something about everything, which is immediately possible to redress or medical emergency. We try to take action on the spot. So this is what we are doing.
Safety of women, security, are you thinking about, like social media is a great thing which you've done, but anything specific for women you're planning?
No, this is absolutely correct. You know, whether we like it or not, the women became sometimes the victims of all kinds of violence, all kinds of antisocial elements acting against them. So while we need to protect every citizen and every passenger, women needs a special type of an approach. So we have started special helpline for women. We are putting CCTV cameras in many of the areas. That day, unfortunate incident in which some pervert tried to harass a woman. So we went out of the way. Through CCTV, we located him, his profile we got. It is very difficult in, as you know, it's such a huge country. But we somehow got hold of him. And now we are giving him a punishment which will be remembered by others also. So women's safety is of a great importance. Now in the Western Railway, I started a one program, callback system, that it's not just one way that you record a complaint. You tell them, so we actually, somebody comes and tells you what has happened about it. So we started that system also. So we are working on quite a few initiatives, and I think it is really necessary. And our society, there are a large number of people, perverts, who try to harass women. It's a very sad thing. But as far as we are concerned, any passenger who is on the railway premises or on the railway rolling stock, we must make sure that we protect their interest properly and they be send them home safely. We are trying to train our people, tell RPF, train all the people who come in contact with the passengers to how to deal with the passengers. See, sometimes the behavior is so rude that what puts people off. Like, you know, even if I have a problem, I can always explain to you properly, sorry, this is what has happened. People will understand. But if I am rude to you, who are you to ask me this? Then this becomes a completely different thing. So it's a behavioral issue. So that also we are trying to address through training.
I had two questions specifically in terms of all the progress that has been made. One, I see railways as a great mine of data and information and data that you have. So, you know, what are you doing, one, with the data, and what are you thinking, especially someone like you who comes from business and CA background, is how are you looking at non-fare monetization, increasing the revenue, the numbers, so that, you know, it doesn't go on to the end consumer, the pricing?
That's a very valid point. In fact, many times we miss an important issue, which I'm glad you have highlighted it, is in tomorrow's world, when we are moving toward digitalization, and it's an inevitable process, you cannot avoid it. You don't have a choice. You cannot say, I'll do it or I'll not do it. You don't do it, you're out. The most important generation as a result of what is going to happen, what you are going to generate more is the data. And data has a value. So data will become more valuable than any other asset that you have. So it's a soft asset. So all the soft assets of railways we must monetize. So we have started the process now. It's a long way to go. One is one is data analytics. We must first understand what data you have. What that analytical tool then can be used for making decision making or even monetizing it. So analytics is the first important thing which was started. As I said, along with that we are doing ERP, which will also be a building block for doing that. That's number one. Number two, non-fare revenue, which is a very important thing. First time we have created a non-fare revenue directed in the railways. We want to take it to much higher level. We already succeeded in increasing it significantly. We are doing 2 lakh screens across the country, digital display network, which will give us huge viewership and therefore potential to make money. Number two, all the places where there is eyeballs we can catch, those eyeballs will be monetized. So we are trying to give a contract for monetizing this. We have already started vinyl wrapped trains, wherein one train alone is going to give us 5 crores a year. So we are trying to multiply it and try to proliferate it. Then we have started other ways of raising money, non-fare revenue, including when a person sits in the passenger on the train, some screens wherein he can learn something and watch, and also we can get money out of it. Plus the railway station development, which with the investment of 1 lakh crore, we are expecting 10,000 crores of revenue over a period of time once this process is complete. That will also give us a non-fare revenue. Catering service, etc., which once it is given also will give us a non-fare revenue. So non-fare revenue is an important thing. My target is to take it to at least 20-25% of the total revenue over a period of next 5-10 years. But we have started the process, and first time we have started earning more. This year I think we got some 80% more than the previous year.
Wow.
But I think we'll go a long way to go. So we are working on it.
Sir, this I wanted to talk on this varied pricing that you have started. There has been a lot of opinion in the public that this is not the best, right? Because now the prices for Rajdhani and all is increasing, and maybe many people are not opting. So what was the thinking behind that?
Our traffic department was of the view that this will give us more revenue, at the same time it will give us benefit to the passengers. But of course, as you are saying, I also got a feedback that many people are having some views on that. So we already told them to re-look into the entire process. So if it is, see, ultimately what are we planning to do? We should try to do everything which the customer is also benefiting, railway is also benefiting, because ultimately railway also makes some money to survive. But we should make money in a manner that the customer also will be paying it ungrudgingly. So we are trying to work on that. We'll revisit the issue again. We already told them to find out how is it going, and then we can take a call again whether it was something needs modification.
And so one question which I have to ask, because I'm from the startup world, is what are you planning to do? Are you planning to work and engage more with startups? Because your department is, your department is a gold mine.
Very important case, you are absolutely right. See, basically, world changes and has been changing all the time. Ever since the first human being was born, the world has changed all the time. But the magnitude of change, the speed of change has increased manifold in the last few years' time. And it is going to even increase more as we go along. We cannot even imagine what the change will be. And where the change comes from, actually, the change comes in the mind. First, the big companies that you see today, they started very small. Even Google started in a garage, or Facebook started in a dormitory of a college. So all these things change with, the things start changing with the first thought in the mind. So startups are very, very critical in terms of bringing that change. So we have set aside 50 crores, modest amount, to encourage the startups. So first round of this was over. We gave them some specific areas in which we need some ideas. So we succeeded. But we are open for this. In fact, I will be very happy to get any ideas from any one of you or any one of your viewers and any one of your audience to tell us how more we can do. Because this is the most important part. I can see today's technology going to be redundant in the next few years' time, completely redundant, out of context with tomorrow's world. So we must think about changing today to keep pace with tomorrow. So I think will be more than happy. We already started doing something, but I will be very happy to have more of your ideas from anybody coming into it, and we can change that.
You brought so much of rigor, energy and drive to the government and the whole image of ministers and politicians are changing with professionals like you coming. What keeps you excited? What has got you here? What is keeping you excited and so driven and so awake 24/7 on social media?
See, there are two things. One is, very clearly, if our country didn't have potential to grow, like some of the other countries who probably are not blessed with so much of resource, either human resource or natural resources. I can understand. Then you are unfortunately stuck in a situation where you can not do much.
Yeah.
But a country like India, where the human resource is so talented, we blessed with so much of natural resources, fantastic history. That is so important because where do you derive strength from? That you can say I will say my father was so I get my father. If my father could do it, why cannot I do it? My grandfather did better, why cannot do it? So thousands of years of very fascinating, rich, and proud history. A country like that, why it is not progressing? So we must do more. So as a minister, it is my job is to put in my best effort possible and try to do it. I have been succeeded in doing great thing because of another reason is Prime Minister. See, I will tell you something which is, I am not saying as a political statement, I am telling you from the heart. The Prime Minister works non-stop. I mean, even machine needs some downtime. He works constantly all the time with new ideas, bubbling with energy. It's a great motivator. So if I am a minister appointed by him and he is my leader who is doing so much, then how can I just take it easy? Yeah. So that's motivation comes from him. I have been succeeded he has given me this inspiration to work more. I am in turn trying to motivate all my employees in my railway organization. 13 lakh employees. I cannot do anything unless these 13 lakh employees also become part of the process of change. Yeah. So we are actually first identify the clear goals, what railways should be, and that has taken quite a bit of time. Having done that, now we are telling everybody to align his job to the corporate goals. What is most important in life is a satisfaction to yourself. I am saying this again not as a political statement, but a reality. There is nothing more soul satisfying than when you see happiness on somebody else's face. And that is why, what is the motivational factor? As I said, a leader, Prime Minister who is doing so much. Secondly, your own ability for the country. And thirdly, the benefit and the happiness that you see on the faces of the beneficiaries of the change that we are trying to bring in. Long way to go. I am saying this is not something which are achieved and we have changed the world. World is too big a entity to be changed. But at least we should try to do our best. Make an effort to change it, and that's what we are doing.
What keeps you awake at night? What is stressful for you? And second is, what is your dream? And are you close to your dream? Now you're the minister, what more? What's the dream?
See, you're asking me two questions which are difficult to answer at the same time because you are saying what keeps you awake. So if I'm awake, I will not get a dream.
Yeah.
Or what Abdul Kalam ji said, a dream is something which does not get, you don't get a dream after you are asleep, but which keeps you awake. Probably if you're asking me like that. Yeah. So now, firstly, I really mean it. I get a good sound sleep with not really a difficulty because I do yoga, I do meditation, I also, and I read before I sleep. I read a lot. I mean, that's my passion. And I read on various subjects. Sometimes I don't finish one book at the same time. I book 2-3 books at a time. I read something and then again I take the other book and read. So I read at night before I go to sleep. So that's fine. Dreams I somehow, and then this I'm telling you very personal thing, the reality. Ever since I've been a child, I always get dreams of different kinds of weird dreams sometimes. And I'm telling you again, I don't know why I'm telling you, but I must tell you. When I was teenager, I used to get a dream, I am speaking in some foreign country and speaking on a subject which I didn't know. And I was speaking and going speak because sometimes you remember what the dream was. And I had not been abroad at all when I was a teenager. By now I have been to 120 countries in my life. And in most of the countries I have spoken publicly. Yeah. You will be surprised. It is shocking. When I went to some of these places and I said, I've seen this place somewhere, but I said, how can I see the place because I've never been here before. Wow. And I had seen in my dream. And I've spoken on, and even now, I never prepare a speech, I never read a speech. It just comes naturally. Yeah. So I think the dream is something which I always get, but there are all kinds of dreams. One thing which sometimes, like a nightmare, I'm a chartered accountant. So when I passed my CA, the result was 1%, people who passed. 1%. So sometimes, even now, I've passed more than 40 years ago. Even now, sometimes I get awakened at night thinking that my exam is tomorrow. So tomorrow exam, and I get frightened. So that is something, because this is something very shocking, that after so many years, so that was a very, very difficult exam that one has to appear. Luckily I passed and got rank also.
No, sir, we hear that you've been an extraordinary CA, a great entrepreneur, and now a phenomenal minister. So we wish that all what you have planned comes true.
Thank you very much. It was one of the very good interaction I could think. That's why I could tell you something which I could not have probably told you also, because it makes.
Though we found you very positive. Thank you
very,
so
very
much.
And thank you for this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you.